In this video, we're going to be talking about why Azula's flames are actually blue throughout the Avatar series. Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to Siphon, and in today's video we're going to be talking mainly about why Azula's flames are blue, what sort of technique she's using, and why no one else throughout the series can actually attain this blue flame ability. So let's begin discussing some of Azula's past throughout Avatar The Last Airbender specifically. So we can see Azula's character actually firebend with regular flames just like every other firebender around her. So I've seen some theories talk about how Azula is kind of crazy, which is why her flames are blue. It's kind of a display of her soul or her natural psyche, which to me makes sense in essence, but at the same time, as Azula was abused by her father and her mother as she grew up, specifically the neglect that Azula went through as a child would have manifested the blue flame already if this theory was correct, which is why I wanted to mention how that theory doesn't work. I'm not sure if you actually know this, but Azula's mother was abusive as well. She basically ostracized Azula and made her feel crazy and evil all the time simply because she took after her father, which makes sense, but at the same time it wasn't fair since Azula was a child. Another theory that a lot of people mention is theory that Azula is evil, which is why her flames are blue, which also doesn't make sense because she does have an antagonist shift. So throughout the Avatar series, she actually becomes a protagonist and ends up helping the Avatar gang throughout her retribution arc. So her blue flames were not attributed to her being evil. So now that we got into some of the theories that other people have come up with, I'm going to come up with my own. So I actually think that the blue flames that Azula can create herself are actually a subcategory of firebending, similar to what waterbenders can create. In essence, they can freeze and heat up water, which is technically a more sub power than another form of bending, but this is why I think they correlate. Another example of this would be how earthbenders can make magma out of rock, which is technically called lava bending, which is another sub-form of bending, which kind of proves that this is possible also with firebending. So the next question you might be asking is, how come Azula is the only one who can produce these blue flames? There have been plenty of great firebending masters before her, including the Avatars, yet none of them have seemed to come up with this blue flame. So with this, I think it's important to note that subcategories of bending seem to always be discovered, similarly to how Toph was able to create metal bending all on her own, or even how Kyoshi invented glass bending. So we can basically confirm that humans in the Avatar universe need to get creative with their bending in order to use this ability to its full extent. But pushing forward with this theory, we can see that Azula actually invented this technique. So what she basically did is found a way to increase the pressure and heat temperature of the flame itself, which is why the color turns blue. In science, we can tell that the flame of a reaction changes color based on its fuel or based on the temperature of the flame. And because all firebenders have the same exact fuel, which is themselves, we can know for sure that the one manipulating the pressure and heat is Azula herself. This ability had to have been something that Azula came up with herself and mastered over time, considering every blast she has tends to have an enormous amount of pressure as well as a high heat temperature, which is the reaction which we see, which is blue flame. Since Azula was able to perfect this new form of subbending, I believe that she trained very hard to acquire this ability in order to prove how skilled and perfect she was to her father. Throughout the series, we can see Azula try everything in her power to appease her father and make him happy, while at the same time sacrificing her dignity in the process. This motivation to be the perfect child seems to have taken over Azula's psyche, which allowed for her to continue training to push past her limits and create high pressure firebending. But hey, that's all I can come up with. Let me know if you guys have anything to add to this video in the comment section below. Let's continue the conversation there. And if you're interested in any other Avatar videos or any other of my anime videos, be sure to check them out here on the screen. Have a good day. Peace.